They're Nerf herders. That's what sold me.
As soon as that when it started.
That's so fun. Because when we meet Luke, he's a jet ski pod racer who cheats at races.
Guys, it sounds stupid. It's awesome.
It's so good. And it's Mark Hamill.
Yeah. I got a pretty good chuckle out of Jar Jar saying Misa always been the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
I was like...
that was good. This whole thing, I think, is just a meta narrative about Star Wars and the fandom as a whole.
And change.
And where we're at. This is actually kind of trying to say something, I think.
This was thought through. This is kind of crazy. Like when you really sit back and think about what the Legos are trying to tell you.
Yeah, right. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Dune Sea, where yes, it is a show all about that galaxy far, far away and beyond. My name is Konnor.
And I'm Seth.
You ever played this game?
No.
This game?
No.
This game?
No.
Okay, handheld guy then. So you've played Lego Star Wars 2 on Game Boy Advance?
No.
Okay, well fine. Does the complete saga on the DS ring a bell then?
No.
Okay, so complete. You're just a collector then. So you've just maybe complete in box Game Boy Advance the original Lego Star Wars.
No.
I'm not throwing this one.
Just
put it right there.
Yeah.
But you are familiar with Lego Star Wars, right? You played with these things.
Of course I have. Who hasn't?
Okay, good. Yeah. Just making sure. It was a little worrisome there for a second, guys.
Maybe someday we'll have to play Lego Star
I am
Wars.
a huge fan of Lego Star Wars because of all those games I just threw into the ether.
Yes.
Over there.
Out beyond the Dune Sea.
Oh, yeah. Out over there. I love this sort of amalgamation of two of my favorite things from when I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very exciting when there was an announcement that we were going to be getting another special, although we kind of get one every year.
Yes.
You know, they've been all right.
They've been okay.
But this one, I think, is a little more than all right, if I'm being honest.
I was going to say, I think that it has a little bit of that secret sauce.
It does.
Yes.
Surprisingly so, huh?
Yes.
Which is kind of cool. So, we're talking about Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy, a 4-part little delightful mini-series just released on Disney Plus on September 13th. And it's our little dip into the Star Wars what if universe, which is, I mean, what perfect way than
it's true
than
because I think the fandom's kind of been asking for that, especially with like the success of the Marvel What If show, because that's a lot of fun. Like, why not do a What If Star Wars?
Yeah, and Lego's fun. I mean, Lego and Star Wars, they go so well together.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Why not?
Yes.
Right? So hit me, 1-minute review, Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy.
So, going into it, I was just kind of like, I think this is just going to be fan servicey. You know, like the last couple Lego Star Wars things on Disney Plus, I felt like have just been kind of okay. Like I tuned into the Halloween one because they were like, oh, the Knights of Ren are actually going to like be in there. And it's like, oh, they're really not. Like they're there, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Right. They're like, and some of the other stuff they've done just is kind of goofy, like the Christmas thing I thought was cute that they did a couple years ago, but yeah. Anyway, Lego has a weird thing with movies, don't you think? Where like I think S tier, like the first Lego movie, and I think Lego Batman, like S tier.
I would agree.
Yes, I think that like great stuff. Lego 2 and Ninjago, not nearly as good. I think this is somewhere in between there, and I think. What makes it special is I think that there is more beneath the bricks, if you will. That when you start taking it off, this thing's got layers.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And so I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I was too. We were not really intending on having a full episode about this.
No.
Because I'd watch the Halloween one as well and the Christmas one. Both fun.
Yeah.
But, just not really much to chew on.
Yes.
Pleasantly surprised with this.
I was kind of like, when I got done watching it, I was like, I think we need to actually have a full episode about this too. That I was like, because I thought that we were just going to shoot like a little 15-minute thing of us just kind of riffing on it or whatever. But I'm like, I think this actually deserves a full-fledged conversation. Yeah, I
agree. Yeah. Like my 1-minute review is that I thought this was just a charming addition to the Star Wars like mythos. Great animation.
Yeah.
fun humor, genuinely great characters, and terrific dialogue that was actually trying to say something the entire time.
Yes.
And it's all built together in a way that really only Lego could do, which is also really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess in a word, genuine is what I felt while watching this. Like it was just very genuine, which is kind of hard to come by. I always see this term sincerity, that film has lost that.
Yeah.
Hollywood has lost that. Sincerity, the forgotten currency. There's a video out there I always see in my recommended.
I was going to say, Lord of the Rings has sincerity.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
And I think this
just coming back from Middle Earth. I think that's
this is oozing with sincerity and genuineness.
Yeah.
And it's such a breath of fresh air, I think. And I think that with Lego, it's one of those things that I was pleasantly surprised at the Lego movie because it's such an easy, like, this is just a cash grab of an hour and a half commercial, for toys. Like it is there to sell the toys, you know? But every now and again, these properties, they go that extra mile. It's like when we talked about Gendy's Star Wars, the Tartakovsky Clone Wars series, that was literally made to sell toys. There were 3-minute little things to keep Hasbro toys relevant between episode 2 and episode 3.
Yes. Selling action figures. And
it ended up being one of the greatest pieces of, Star Wars media that still is there today. And Lego, like you said, with Lego Batman, I agree. It's one of the best.
Yeah.
And the original Lego movie, they're not all punching up like that. They're not all fantastic, but they all, I think, have a lot of heart, which is really cool because you look at some movies that try to, I think, capture this essence, which is like, I think of like the Emoji Movie.
Yes.
Or the upcoming Minecraft movie.
Yes.
Maybe that's going to be great, but everything we're seeing right now, it doesn't have that sauce.
Yeah.
The genuineness of it all.
Yeah.
Which is, like I said, breath of fresh air when it comes to this. So this was really interesting. This story, we get some new characters. Siggy Greeble. Yeah, which is an Easter egg in and of itself, right?
Yeah.
And then Dev Greeble. They're Nerf herders.
Yes.
That's what sold me.
As soon as that when it started,
that's so fun.
Yeah.
Like I saw the on Disney Plus, they had like a little, the little
blurb.
1-minute blurb. It was like these Nerf herders have to, and I thought they were just, playing off the joke.
The phrase.
But no, they're literally herding Nerfs. And whoa, that's so fun. Like what other universe could he do it other than Lego? Like,
that is true.
So right away, I was captured.
Yeah.
And so there's 4 episodes, right? They're little 22-minute episodes. And we don't get to the rebuilding the galaxy until about 2/3 of the way through the first episode.
I was going to say, that you really get kind of like the groundwork of these guys' lives. Yeah.
So the brief plot synopsis, just to get you guys all up to speed for those who maybe haven't watched it, is you have these 2 brothers. One really wants to get out of Dodge. He wants to get off the planet.
Yes.
And then you have Siggy, our main character, who he knows Star Wars by heart.
Yes.
Because he lives in our galaxy, if you will. And he knows those stories at heart. And he wants to just stay there. He wants to just stay on his planet and do his thing. And then they find this Jedi temple because Siggy has the Force.
Yes.
And he pulls the cornerstone from the temple, which forces the whole galaxy to be just shaken up.
It resets the galaxy. And
Jedi Bob is there, who's an older Lego figure, which comes back later at the end of this series. He's one of the yellow figures.
Yes.
And all of a sudden now Siggy is in this new galaxy where all of his friends don't know him. His brother is a Sith Lord.
Now Darth Devastator.
Darth Dev, which is so fun.
Yes.
Darth Devastator, where you have all these wacky characters where the good guys are bad guys, the bad guys are good guys. The clones are Admiral Akbars, just hijinks, right?
Yes.
And all till the end, where we have kind of our final battle against Darth Devastator.
Yeah.
And all the while, you've got really, I think, tight dialogue.
Yeah.
A lot of heart.
Yeah.
And
also you got actual Star Wars voice actors.
That was the most like fever dream part of this, I think. Like they were, I wrote down during the space battle.
Yeah.
Which was in either the 3rd episode or the 4th episode. The fourth episode.
Yeah.
Where you have like the Ewok bounty hunters led by evil C-3PO, and you have the Jedi led by Jedi Palpatine.
Yeah.
And like surfer dude Luke, and like in their sand crawler, and there's on the ground you have General Grievous and Yoda and Mace Windu, who are prisoners in this, like,
Han Solo's a bad guy.
Yeah, Han Solo's a bad guy. And I was
Mhm.
like, this is just a fever dream.
It is.
This is just a fever dream, because all that's wacky and fun.
Mhm.
But a lot of these guys are played by the voice actors, So like
Yes.
Grievous is being played by Matt Wood. And so while he's like talking smack to what's her name? I've forgotten, one of the main characters.
Oh, it starts with a Y. I don't remember what it is.
Yessie?
Yes, Yessie. Yeah.
Starts talking smack to Yessie.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's really him.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the Revenge of the Sith, guy.
Yes.
It's just talking like this. And C-3PO, the same thing. I mean, it's Anthony Daniels.
Yes.
And then Maul is here, and he's
Yes.
like swooning over Leia.
It's so good.
And,
Kind of humming the Duel of Fates.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so fun.
yes.
And everybody also is bringing their A game.
Mhm.
Like, we haven't even mentioned Mark Hamill playing Luke.
I loved this version of Luke. I don't know about you.
I did too. He
Yes.
was so fun.
Mhm.
And we even got little blurbs of him as Luke in like the actual Skywalker saga
Yes.
from the recap.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was really funny how when you get to the sequels, he's like, I'm old and grumpy now.
Yeah. My favorite little cameo. Did you notice what he was doing during that I'm old and grumpy now?
He was like riding Rey.
Which, have you seen that picture?
Yeah,
where he's
yeah.
on her back and they're pointing. That I'm just like, that's incredible. Like, these guys really love Star Wars. That, like, to have them be doing that.
And that whole recap too. I liked the slow roast of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
They poked so much fun, but had so much fun.
Yes.
And I thought that would make what? It was so cool to see fans get to be like that on that level,
Mhm.
because we could sit here and meme and talk and have fun like that, but to have actual Star Wars media do that,
To be able to do the plot. Yeah.
It's nice that they don't take themselves too seriously.
Not since Robot Chicken, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it kind of felt like that, but this had way more heart than what Robot Chicken does. Yeah.
But I just think, in the age of, where everything's so divisive and things like that, where
memeable,
everybody gets so up in arms. It's like, it's okay to poke fun. Like, that's part of the fun.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Like the dead speak with Palpatine. I don't know where this version of the character, it feels like he just keeps getting compounded.
Yeah.
Like, somebody did an impression and then Robot Chicken did that. And then it's just become impressions of impressions of impressions.
Yeah.
And so then you're left with whatever this is in this. And I'm here for it. It's whack. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And really Lego Star Wars is just fun, right? Like,
well, who doesn't like building this stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I brought up all these games a minute ago, but like, that's what I grew up with. I grew up with those games and I loved them so much.
Yeah.
Because of that humor, that unique style of humor that you can only really get in Lego. That's really brought here, and it's really cool. And I also, as a side note, the animation, I loved how it wasn't super fluid. It had that kind of stop motion quality. And in that, there was an article by Collider. We were talking about that. The directors mentioned that they tried to emulate some of those early fan films.
Yeah.
Of like Star Wars fan films using Lego. I thought that was really neat.
What I think is wild too is I was doing, research, and I guess like Star Wars Legos didn't happen until like around the time of the Phantom Menace. And I could have sworn they were before that.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild to think about that, like, they're coming up on 25 years or whatever.
This is 25 years.
This is 25 years. Yeah. It doesn't feel like, I feel like they've been around a lot longer than that. And I feel like I must have been building my own Star Wars Legos before the actual thing.
Well, that's what the directors were talking about in that
that
article.
People were just building stuff. Yeah. And I must have, because I swear I remember playing with them before 1999. Because I remember getting Anakin's pod.
Okay.
I know I had that Lego, but I remember even before that, which is crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always had a special place for me too. Like, so your first one was Anakin's pod then? That you remember?
Yes, I'm really sure. And I know that I've messed around with, remember Luke's land speeder? I messed around with it a lot because it had those pieces on the bottom that were smooth. So it could like roll around. It didn't it didn't have wheels, but it was smooth, so it could like slide across like hard surfaces and stuff like that. Yeah.
I had, so like those two were ones from when I was a kid. It's the only two I have left. I stupidly sold a lot of them.
Yeah.
But they're very dusty.
Yeah.
But that Arc 170 was a very fun. I think even the front piece is missing off that. But,
yeah, I think shouldn't it have a longer nose?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. These have been through many moves and like they from many years ago. Yeah, a lot of love.
A lot of love.
There's like, there used to be, I think they still are on there. There's like rubber bands on the back. That like,
yeah, I can see that you could spin something on the back of there.
Yeah.
Probably makes these open up.
My dad and I had a lot of fun building that, I remember. But then this one I got a few years ago from my mother-in-law. That's, you guys know, my favorite iteration of the Falcon.
Yeah, it's something.
Anyway, so a lot of fun. And I think an aspect of this show that's really fun too, like with the galaxy being shaken up.
Yeah.
I think it's a perfect medium for a what if because it feels like playing with your toys. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like just
mixing and matching stuff.
Did you used to do that with your toys? Like swap heads or like do little kit bashes and tell your own little stories?
I definitely had my own like stories because like I don't know if I've told this before or not, but like I remember I got so I had the fire spray, but that was the only Star Wars ship I had.
Okay.
And so I had lots of the Konnor figures, Power of the Force. And I ended up I remember I was at a garage sale and I picked up some Jurassic Park vehicles. And so all my guys drove around in Jurassic Park vehicles.
Oh, okay.
And I still to this day, like I know like Leia drove, I don't know why, but I always had Leia driving, Luke rode shotgun, and then I didn't have a Han, but I had Han and Carbonite from the fire spray. He was in the back with Chewbacca protecting him, and they were in the green Jurassic Park car, and then the bounty hunters drove around in like the gas-powered Jeep. And I'm trying to think. IG-88 drove it, Greedo was shotgun, that like came out, and then Bosk was in like there was like a snare like that you could put around the dinosaurs' necks. I hung Bosk in there like so he could like swing over and like attack the cards. Fun. Yeah, and then Forlum was in the back with the like he was in the gunner seat. It's like and I wanted to get Zuckuss in there, but like he was like a traffic cone. He couldn't bend to get in there. Okay. Yeah. So
I got you. Yeah, that's fun.
And so I guess, yeah. So like, again, I didn't have any Star Wars ships. So yeah,
that I make your own little story.
I did. Yes. They were.
I did that with my 3 3/4 figures. I had tons of them. Like a lot of Power of the Force, a lot of the Attack of the Clones line, a lot of the Revenge of the Sith line.
Yeah.
And the story I did over and over again is there was the figure of, it was Anakin, but like you could change him into like burnt Anakin.
Yeah.
You know? So there was, I had a little rubber overlay for his cloak, and like you could swap heads, and like you could take his arm off and stuff, and his legs off. Kind of a crazy figure to think about, you know. But I was always have
brutalization action. Look, Mom.
I mean, yeah, basically.
I hate you.
So I used to
imagining you.
Hey, that's what I used to do, man.
You were my brother.
I used to have him like be redeemed, like after like, so I do the whole Mustafar fight and like fight him with my Obi-Wan and stuff. And then like Anakin would come to his senses after he got burnt.
Yeah.
You know? And so then I would always put, I don't remember whose legs I would get, but it was like robot legs. I would take one of the robots, put his legs on him.
Yeah.
And then I would, then eventually as the story progressed I would take his head off and put it on like an Obi-Wan, another Obi-Wan that I had. So he had like Jedi robes, and then Luke would come along. Yeah. It's like he would be like on the council. So that was always what I would play. Like I had these elaborate stories where Anakin became the good guy again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was always a lot of fun. And there was one figure or one accessory that I used a lot. It was a lightning accessory. I don't even know what it was for. Oh, actually, I think it was
Palpatine, right?
No, I think it came with the Vader.
Like where he was saving Luke?
Yeah. So like it wrapped around his body. So it was like a cone almost.
Yeah.
And I used to use that as like a little prison to like trap Yoda.
Oh,
so like that's why like Palpatine, we'd be like, all right, like he puts him in a little lightning prison, you know, or something.
Then they got to save Yoda?
Yeah, basically.
I gotcha.
So just stuff like that.
The lore, man.
Yeah, I know. Like the little kid, your action figure lore, you know, is insane.
Yes.
So anyway, that's what this kind of feels like, is just
definitely
just like swapping heads on stuff and having fun and just being crazy. I think that's super cool. So how about Easter eggs though? There's a lot of Easter eggs.
I know, and I was going to say, I already said the best one I feel like was the Luke riding Rey on her back. Like I thought that was so funny. And then also like Kylo Ren, he's got his shirt off the one time you see him. Like that's so ridiculous. And I think the one that got me the most was where I like, did the old man like clap at the screen. Like oh my gosh, was the where Luke Skywalker says that Tatooine can't hold or isn't big enough to hold Luke Skywalker forever, and he turns and he looks away, and then like the neon lights are the two suns, and he puts his foot up, and I'm just like, this is awesome. Like this is so good. And then like
I also loved that.
Yeah, I think that's like the best one, but like even the character design, like down to the fact that he's wearing Padme's wearing the little wood. Yeah, wearing the little wood. Yeah.
So you can infer that she probably raised him on Tatooine.
Exactly. And then I really like that Sidious says to Vader, I really regret making you the rank of Padawan. It's like, what happened? They're like, what could have happened? Like, it just reminded me of the, rank of Master.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Han saying, to Leia,
Greedo shot his shot first.
Yeah, Greedo shot his shot for first. Yeah, it's so good. Anyway, but yeah, those were some of them I enjoyed.
That was probably one of my favorites. The one where I had my laugh out loud moment was when Dev was in the Dark Falcon and he was like, I have this fully operational Dark Falcon. And then the satellite dish, that breaks off at every single thing is a Death Star
laser just shooting at everything. Yeah.
I thought that was so funny. I'm like, man, there you go. Like there's just...
It's thinking.
Because that's such like a little thing. Like nobody pays attention to that, but like the satellite breaks off in every movie basically. Yeah, and it's different in every movie, and they used that as a little joke. Yeah, I think that's so cool. That was so fun. There's a million. Easter eggs.
Because I was going to say I'm not a huge Lego nerd, but apparently there's like weird stuff.
Like the his ship. The separator, like that's a Lego separator.
Oh yes, that big orange thing. Yes, that his Dev ship. Well, I was gonna say there was something about like Cassian's ship is in this somewhere.
Oh really? Okay.
And I guess that like that's like a big deal to like Lego collectors. I have no idea. Yeah. Then I'm just like, that's beyond me. I don't know that. Like I really liked when they were trying to run away from Darth Dev. They build into Sebulba's pod racer. Yeah.
Yes, I was about to say that that sequence was awesome. Where it was that, and then it became kind of like a mini gunship.
Yes.
For a while, and then later you get the starfighters oozed Star Wars goodness that whole time. It was so much fun. So talking a little bit about the story. So we gave a little recap.
Couple of nerf herders.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't have Star Wars without siblings.
Yeah. Right.
One wanting more for himself and maybe even the other one being, I don't know, contentness is an interesting thing in Star Wars. I don't feel like that we get that a lot. It is a lot of more that kind of
looking out into the horizon.
Beyond the Dune Sea, if you will.
Yeah, that is true. Where that's interesting because Dev is sort of that Luke Skywalker, Anakin Skywalker, Rey character, and he ends up being the bad guy.
And he even like hints at that. But like during the storm, he's like, if I didn't have you, I don't know what I would end up like. Yeah. They're like, he needs his brother.
In their conversation earlier, he's even like talking about how he wants to change things. They're talking about that staff.
Yep.
Right. Tradition. Yes. And so Sig wants to maintain tradition, and it's important to maintain tradition. And he tells the stories, but Dev's like, no, we got to get creative and screw that. And let's change all this stuff. And that
let's hurt some nerfs with a speeder bike.
Yeah. Like it's excellent foreshadowing because you get this fun little way that you get this brothers relationship, but then when the galaxy changes, they're the same characters basically.
Yep.
They're just amped up to the extreme. That's what I'm talking about with this writing. It was actually like, it's really good writing.
Again, pleasantly surprised.
It's
like
crazy.
I was like, this is crisp. Like this is good.
Yeah, it's very tight, like tight dialogue, tight storytelling.
In that Collider article, they even talked about that they didn't.
With the gags.
Yes, they didn't waste bits. That they were just like, no, if it didn't serve the story, we cut it. Yeah. Like everything has to be kind of.
Here, I want to actually give some credit to them. I'll read their quote because I really have a lot of respect for these guys. Especially after reading this article, this Collider article. So the directors, Dan Hernandez and Benji Sammet, they're the writers, excuse me. Or did they also direct it? Showrunners. So they're the showrunners. But anyway, they said I think it's also because we tried to not ever do silly jokes and references just for the sake of it, like tossed aside little gags and stuff. Almost everything is really connected to the story, and the story was first for us for everything. It was always like, well, what serves the story? Does this little gag actually serve the characters, or are we just trying to squeeze in a gag? If it felt like we were just trying to squeeze it in, we cut it. Yeah. And then from Hernandez, so there was actually a lot of stuff that didn't make it in the end that was really funny, but ultimately we kind of whittled it down to the essentials that were trying to serve the story we wanted to tell. That kind of discipline is so important.
I mean, more should follow that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And not just when it comes to gags, right?
Yeah.
But like,
well, that's filmmaking 101.
Yeah. It's very disciplined, especially when you're making something that's, inherently for kids, inherently funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like Lego is known for its humor, but I think that's really smart and really creative or disciplined to only connect things.
Very restrained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back to the story. So, we get everything shaken up.
Yes.
And Jedi Bob is trying to teach him the Force.
Yes.
Siggy the Force, because Siggy is a natural Force builder.
Yes, which is kind of like if you've seen the Lego movies, it's basically a master builder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just that they were a sect of the Jedi.
Yes.
Along with Sith destroyers.
Yeah, the contrasted with the Sith breakers.
Or Sith breakers, I'm sorry.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Mm-hmm. I think that you get two really great looks into the Force in this series. Mm-hmm. That's one of them, the Jedi or the Force builders, which they create. Mm-hmm. That's their thing. They build things. They're tied with creation. Yeah. And I doubt this was their intention, but coming from a person of faith, like the word creation holds some weight.
Yeah.
But I love that anyway. This idea, or it's very important. This idea that good can only create, evil can only destroy.
Yeah.
It's very important storytelling. It's very important religiously. But the idea that Jedi Bob says the Jedi were tied to creation. Mm-hmm. They can create.
Yeah.
But the Sith have to tear down and destroy.
Yeah.
I think it's so fundamental.
Yeah.
And I love.
Well, they have to destroy in order to create, basically, right?
Well, Isn't that the Sith just destroy?
Oh, okay.
They break.
Okay.
They break and they twist.
Okay. Gotcha.
But I think that's so important. We talk about tentpole stories, a lot on the show about how, some of these things, they may seem like they're just fun kid stories and whatnot, but they're telling a really important message.
Yeah.
I think that's a fundamental thing that you get in a lot of tentpole stories, like in Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
That evil cannot create, only good can create, but evil can destroy. And that's its inherent quality. Mm-hmm. I just like that. It's kind of broken down to its very core concept here in a Lego way. They can build and the Sith can destroy.
To
the point where
said, Dev's ship.
Yeah, exactly. He has the separator as his main thing.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool. Mm-hmm. Again, this could have easily been just a little media tie-in to sell toys, but they took the property, they took the toy, and they're like, how can we derive meaning from the toy?
It's true. And I think it's interesting because there's only 3 sets for this. I went and so there's a Dark Falcon.
Yeah.
There's Jedi Bob's ship.
Okay.
And then there's a X-Wing and a TIE Fighter.
Yes.
That you can
I didn't know about Jedi Bob's ship. I knew the other 2 though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I just think that it's, again, even the marketing.
Restrained.
Very restrained.
Yeah.
And
a little bit. I mean, that Dark Falcon's like $180.
Yeah, but I mean, but it all, as you said, it's important though to the story and everything that that it's they didn't just go, all right, we need a Dark Falcon tie-in. How about this? They didn't Razor Crest it where, where it's like, oh, we're going to sell this giant Razor Crest action figure, but it gets blown up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
What'd you think about Jedi Bob's description of the Force? The Siggy when they're in the cantina?
I'm trying. Where he was like that it speaks with a whisper?
Yeah.
And that here,
I'll read the quote.
Sure. Sorry.
So they're in the cantina and they're talking to Luke, and Luke's being like, I don't need it. I'm fine. So what that I cheated in the pod race? Because when we meet Luke, he's a jet ski pod racer who cheats at races.
Guys, it sounds stupid. It's awesome.
It's so good. And it's Mark Hamill.
Yes.
It's so good. Mm-hmm. And then when they get there, you get this great tongue-in-cheek moment where Siggy is relaying the real Luke, his story to this Luke, and Luke's like, so let me get this straight.
He says he gets really sad that most of his friends get killed, and then I use the Force so hard I kill myself.
I use the Force so hard that I die.
Why would I do that?
Yeah. And then Siggy's like, well, what do you put it that way?
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so fun, poking fun at it.
Mm-hmm.
And Luke's like, yeah, you know what? I'm maybe, do you ever think about that? I'm happy you're here.
Yeah.
And maybe some of us are happy you're here.
Mm-hmm.
A good message.
Yeah.
That we'll get back to later with one of the major themes, that we
Yes.
haven't talked about yet. And he leaves. And, Siggy's frustrated. And so Jedi Bob turns to him and he says, the dark side is loud and obnoxious. The light side is just a whisper in the back of your mind.
Yeah. It reminds me. So when I heard that, I immediately went to Rey's vision in The Force Awakens.
Okay.
The last thing she hears is she backs away from the saber. You hear Ewan McGregor, these are your first steps. Then I was just kind of like, I don't know why. I just was kind of like, okay, that's a nice description of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that great comic with Luke where he's talking to the Knights of Ren.
Mm-hmm.
He's fighting the Knights of Ren. He's like, you wield the Force like a hammer.
Mm-hmm.
I wield it like a blade.
Yeah.
This is sandwiched between two really funny moments, the thing with Luke, and then you get a thing with Maul right after this.
Yeah.
You get this just nice little piece of Force lore.
Yeah.
I think it's a great description because it really is like that. I mean, the Force, the dark side is loud, it's obnoxious, it's the easy path, all of these things.
Yeah, exactly.
And the light
It's
side,
that
you have to
pounding,
work at it.
it's that pounding in the foreground of your head where you have to, it kind of reminds me of it's not good and evil. It's doing what's right and what's easy.
Yeah. The Optimus Prime quote. Yep.
Exactly. Yes.
Exactly. Because to do what's good and what's right, you have to work at it. You have to listen.
Exactly.
And to listen to that little voice.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Mm-hmm. We alluded to it a moment ago, but the best part about this, it's fun, of course. Mm-hmm. You get great moments, the great cast, all this stuff.
Yeah.
This is actually kind of trying to say something, I think.
Yeah. I was like, when I got done, I was just like, this is, I don't know what it's trying, because it's pointing at stuff, I feel like.
Like when we're introduced to Dev and Siggy. I mentioned a minute ago, but when we get introduced to the Nerf herding, and he's telling the stories, because Siggy's telling the story of the Skywalker saga.
Yep.
He knows it by heart. Yep. Mostly.
Yeah, I was going to say he messes up the Wookiees and the Ewoks.
And that's a little in-joke, right?
Oh, yeah, because Jedi was supposed to have Wookiees, but they couldn't afford the suits. Yeah. So, they did Ewoks.
Again, another great little moment.
Exactly.
But, Siggy's trying to use that staff. He honors the tradition. He honors that way, the way it was written, the way they were taught.
Yeah.
But Dev wants to break out of that. And I think already they're trying to set that tone. And I think Dev is all about the change, the restructuring. And then even when he becomes Darth Dev, an exaggeration of that version of the character, you get that even more told to you. He wants to break, he wants to separate, because he's been alone and all this stuff. Yeah. But Siggy, I think, represents definitely the fans who love the original stuff, all that stuff.
Oh, definitely.
He's the purist.
Yes.
He's the prequel kid, he's the original trilogy guy. He's whatever you want to call him, whatever label you want to slap on him. But that guy that doesn't want anything to change.
Ever.
And really that's what this whole thing, I think, is just a meta narrative about Star Wars and the fandom as a whole
and change
and where we're at.
Yes. It's so weird because again, what I was saying with the whole Jedi Bob.
Yeah. Yeah.
That look at him. He's a yellow-faced Lego guy. He's all scratched up. He's from a bygone era. Star Wars Legends era.
Yeah.
I mean, he's from a 2002 Lego set.
Yeah.
I think, and I guess it's not outright said, I mean, he's from OT Star Wars.
Yeah, he's from the EU.
He's from the EU. Yes, he's a Legends character that lived through, that when the galaxy got reset or whatever to Siggy and Dev's world. Yeah, that he's left over from that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's where it became clear to me, was during his flashback.
Yeah.
Because now you have 3 different versions of the galaxy. You have Bob's.
Yeah.
Dev and Siggy's.
Yeah.
Ours, if you will.
Yeah.
And this new one.
A new one.
And they each represent something for sure. And I think you're 100% right.
Yeah.
That Bob comes from that old EU.
Yes.
Where things were simpler. Because in that
you could see the Lego builds were simple.
They were so...
How the characters even looked were simple. They had the original Lego hair. It wasn't, that it's just, oh man. Again, this was thought through. This is kind of crazy. When you really sit back and think about what the Legos are trying to tell you.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So then you get like the main galaxy, if you will, the one where Siggy and Deb are originally from, I think is definitely ours, if you will. I wonder kind of, it's interesting to think about because I wonder at what point we're meant to think that it breaks off, because that they talk about the sequel stuff here.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
But I think in a lot of ways, this new galaxy is trying to talk about what's going on now with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like all of this change, because notice with Darth Dev, his little squad is all the hated characters.
It's a lot of characters that people don't typically like.
Of course, you got Darth Jar Jar.
Yes.
But that's fun, right?
Yeah, exactly.
People we've grown to like him over the years.
But the fandom didn't for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, horribly so in the beginning.
Exactly.
You also have, this is what really got me. Rose Tico.
Yeah.
Darth Tico.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yes.
That she was among that group.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it became even more clear to me what they were trying to do here.
Yeah.
Like these are Rey. Yeah. Right. You have all of these characters that, and then you have some other ones kind of thrown in there, like Kit Fisto. I mean, people like Kit Fisto.
Yeah. There was a Jawa. Did you see that?
Yes. But he was, I read that was a joke about one of the creators had a role-playing game. Yeah. Like a D&D campaign or something. And that was an OC.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. But like Nine Nub was one of the, one of them. Yeah.
No. And then one of them was
Hammerhead.
Nubs, right? From the Young Jedi Adventures.
Yes, exactly.
So they were all pulling, and a lot of people hate on that show because it's like, this is too childish and all this stuff. And so I think that this new galaxy is really just trying to reflect that there's all this change and Siggy hates it. And no, this isn't right. My character, Luke, isn't acting the way I think he should.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because in his world, Luke did act the way that a lot of fans, like it's kind of compounding on itself. It's interesting. But it's definitely reflection though, like saying, well, Luke, you're the hero. What are you doing? You're just on this planet. But it's the same story, right? It's the same thing that fans went through when and talking about Luke being Octo.
It's true.
I mean, notice that Tatooine is an island planet now, right?
Now it is, yes.
And there's some lore stuff there about how Tatooine might have been a water planet at one point, but I mean, it's all there, all the pieces are set, if you will.
Yeah.
All the bricks have been laid.
Yeah.
For this sort of meta narrative that's so interesting. And I think that it was bold to make the bad guys sort of the Disney characters, but also very fitting because Dev, he's not really evil per se. He's just so alone, right?
Yeah. And he says that he's just never had anyone. And he is very like Kylo Ren in that sense that he's just, I will finish what you started. Yeah. Yeah. That I'm going to bring down everything.
What do you think they're doing with that? Like, what do you think that means?
What, with Dev? And then he's going to wreck everything?
No, just from this meta context, like what are they trying to say with Dev being like, he's alone, but they're the evil guys, right? If this is the Disney era that they're trying to represent, this is wild that we were going this deep on a freaking Lego show.
I know, but I mean, it's weird though, because it's like the writers are like, fine, okay, you don't like these guys? We'll just make them evil. Now is this what you want? I can turn Jar Jar Binks into a Sith Lord? Is that really what you want?
And what about Rose Tico? You want to do the same thing there? Like, exactly. Is that the answer?
Yeah. Is that why you don't like them? Is because they're just, good guys? I don't know. That like, and I know that like, it's tough because I think part of the problem too is that like some of those characters, they weren't well received because I didn't think they were the best written characters.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. So I think they are being quite tongue in cheek with choosing some of their, who Dev had as his apprentices, if you will.
I think the dialogue kind of reminds us constantly about some of this stuff. In the beginning, the first episode, Dev tells Siggy to stop telling other people's stories and to tell his own.
Yeah.
Like, but I know all the best stories by heart.
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of a message to the fans, Like, sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, you don't have to be a hero to do heroic things. You just need to try. I think that's a really, do or do not. There is no try. I think that's an interesting way of saying that. Yeah. But along with
like adapting.
Yes. I agree. I do think there is something too with like Siggy being, that he's recording his galaxy. Yeah. Yeah. Or what his galaxy used to be. Mm-hmm. And it reminds me a lot of, this. Yeah. This.
And notice it was the same color even.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. It just, I like, again, like a lot of thought went into the show. Like it's, cause I just feel like that there's too many too many breadcrumbs, if you will.
It gave me a lot to think about, you know, where I think the message ultimately of this show, well, there was a lot of fun, you know, it ended off on a fun cliffhanger and all this. Yeah. But the message really for us as fans, I think, is it's going to keep adapting.
It will. I mean,
we're going to keep getting new stories. We may like some of these new stories. We may like the mix-ups. We may not like the mix-ups. But we still have all that stuff.
We do. That doesn't mean that it's completely gone.
Yeah, like these 6 up here, that's still there.
Yeah,
you know?
It is.
Like these games.
And I don't want that to sound like cope, but I mean like
No, it's not, but it's not cope. And I think that that's what this is trying to tell us is that like, it's okay. Yeah. You know, it's like, it's okay. You don't have to like everything.
Yeah. Because going back to the Lego stuff, when I was kind of like just getting a timeline kind of written out for this, that I was like, you know, Star Wars was made 77 to 83, audio remastered 95, special edition 97. Like that's quick changing stuff. People are already kind of ticked off about the special edition 99. Here come the prequels. Check out Jar Jar Binks. That's all the way to 2005. Then next thing you know, you've got not too much long late, or like 10 years later, you've got Disney Star Wars. Like that's just a lot. And like every one of those like changed Star Wars a lot, some for the better, some for the worse. And that's okay though. I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
George was even changing it.
It reminds me of, you ever hear of this idea that like when you're around the age of 14, your music tastes kind of get locked in?
Yeah.
I think that that's the case with Star Wars fans too. Not just with Star Wars, but a lot of things. I think that you hit an age where that just kind of gets locked in and you kind of become curmudgeon-y after that, where you're like, no, I don't really want this stuff. That's why shows like Ahsoka really resonate with people like you and me, because they have the characters and themes that we know and we like and we resonate.
Yeah.
And then other stuff comes along where maybe we're not as into it. I do think there's an element of you need good writing, of course, because there are some.
Yes, definitely.
I'll still stand by, and like not to beat back on this old horse, but because I think it's important, like stuff like The Acolyte.
Yeah,
I didn't just not like that because it wasn't my thing. I personally didn't think it was super well written.
Yeah,
you know, that's just my opinion. But there were other things that, like Young Jedi Adventures, it's obviously not made for me. But I've heard great things about it.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, Star Wars Galaxies of Adventures. I mean, like that's not technically made for us. That's for someone who hasn't really seen Star Wars. But like, that's awesome.
Yeah,
give me I'd watch a whole, like if they redid all
that resonates with people like you and me, because it's these 6.
Yes,
right. It's going to strike those chords.
Yeah.
But again, I think the message of this Rebuild the Galaxy is that there are people in that galaxy that are okay with being in that galaxy, you know, and they like that. They don't want things to go back to this, because you hear people like decanonize the Disney stuff and all this.
Yeah.
But there are people who kind of live in the Disney galaxy who are like, but
I like them.
I like this stuff.
Yeah.
Can I not like this? Like, you can have your stuff too. You know, you got your stories.
Yeah.
Why can't I have my stories?
It's true.
You know,
and I mean, there's some great Disney characters.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't want Kylo Ren and Rey to leave.
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah.
I like Cobb Vanth. I like Mando.
Yeah.
Yeah. Babu Frick.
This has given me, I've been kind of going on my own personal journey since really we started the show about canon.
Yeah. And how important it is.
I was sort of a canon like stickler.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing like, that's not really it. Like, of course I care about canon. I want things to be, I don't want you just to throw it by the wayside for the sake of it.
Oh no. Because I mean, there needs to be like, for lack of a better term, like canon events and things like that, and really kind of like
and standards. Like,
yes.
But I realize that that's not really it. I just care about good writing at the end of the day. And like this show really proved it to me. I thought it was really well written.
Yeah.
It was really cool. To be honest with you, that first episode, before they even started mixing up the galaxy, I would have taken more episodes of just these two brothers
hanging out,
herding nerfs. I thought they had great chemistry. I thought that was really fun. It was really fun ideas.
Did you look to see who played these guys?
I did, but I've forgotten their names.
Okay, it's all right. I don't remember. Like one's in Stranger Things.
Okay. Dev sounds so familiar. Like I've heard.
Dev is Flash Thompson in the new Spider-Man films.
Is he?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's so
crazy.
Why he
sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's so crazy to me, but that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that to kind of tie that thread up here is that like what I mean by that is like we have Plagueis, the book. It's not canon. But why not? Why not it be in your own canon? Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because I think too, let's be honest, with how things have been going, could you see someone else buying it within our lifetime?
Maybe.
I could see that. And honestly, I felt like this was even kind of a pat on the shoulder that is like, be prepared. This could happen again.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, like I've always been really surprised that Disney just started. I know that they paid a lot for it, but I'm surprised that they didn't just like start making theme parks right off the bat. Like that start with that and then kind of hold on to it for like even just let it cook a little longer, if that makes sense, before they just started pumping out Star Wars films. I mean, like, does that make sense?
That's
that it's
the
like,
great mystery there is why they didn't plan.
Yeah, well, I'm not even talking about like just like again like making Lucas World or whatever and doing like an Indiana Jones part and stuff like that, and just being kind of like keepers of the sacred texts, if you will, and kind of make money off Star Wars that way.
I see.
But yeah.
It's an interesting idea as if it ever got sold again. Because we're kind of living in the age of IP right now, which is
definitely
like, I think it's hard for people to understand. Maybe it's rather not hard to understand. It's hard to grasp. Star Wars is one of like the original IPs. Like when you think of just franchises and things like that, I mean, 77, there wasn't really, I mean, what else is there other than Star Wars before that? I mean, there's Lord of the Rings.
But it was a book.
It was a book. It didn't become like, I feel like an IP until the Peter Jackson movies where you had like merch and stuff. And well, there were the animated movies, I guess. So I guess.
But no one was walking around with like a Gandalf shirt. Maybe, but I mean, like, I
think Star Wars really started this. And so now we are in a world where maybe it changes hands a couple times. And what does that look like?
Yeah.
Do the new stewards, do they treat it the same way? Because then I know you've had people over the years talk about redoing the original trilogy. And it's like, no.
No, I don't think that's, and so that's wise. Although if they let him, I'd watch special editions of the prequels.
I'd watch special editions of the sequels.
Yeah, I'd watch special editions of the sequels as well if they, Well,
he was kind of special editioning them as they came out. So
it is true that there are a couple differences and stuff like that as they were getting their DVD releases, but still.
Yeah. It's interesting to think about for sure. It's like what happens, because I will say that with that in mind, I think Disney, for all of their sins, you have to give them at least some credit for not really messing with George's stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you could say that where they took his characters you didn't like and you thought that was disrespectful and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And hey, there's arguments to be made for that. But they didn't go back and be like, hey, you know what? We're redoing this.
Yeah.
Because look at what they're doing with their own properties. They're like live action remakes of everything.
Yeah.
And they're changing those stories as they do it.
Yes. Some for the better, others for the worse. But yes.
Yeah, I think most of them are worse, but to each their own.
Yeah. Well, I meant the changes, not the movies themselves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, even still, personally. Okay. Aladdin was okay.
I didn't hate The Beauty and the Beast either.
I haven't seen that one.
Okay. Gotcha.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But I know there's talk with like Lord of the Rings. We just keep talking about that, but like to remake those.
Yeah.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
That story.
That's happening.
That it's happening.
Yeah. They're casting for that, which I think it could actually work way better as a TV show.
That's one where I'm with you.
I'm pretty like, I'm like, okay, we'll see.
Still, I know this
maybe they'll be air fried.
I know this is the fan cast, but Adam Driver is a young Snape. Hey, you know what?
He's too old now.
So was Alan Rickman when they did the movies.
Yeah, that's the problem. They need to like get somebody who's like in their 20s who happens to just kind of look older.
You know who would have been perfect if this was like 40 years ago?
Who?
The guy who played Green Wormtongue.
Oh, yeah.
That'd have been great.
Yeah.
But anyway, look at all these properties that are now looking to redo the same story again.
Yeah.
Star Wars didn't do that.
No.
I think that Disney deserves a modicum of credit. Credit for that. Because you bring up a great point. If it changes hands again, the next steward we might be getting more of a Denethor. I keep tying it back. We were in Middle Earth too long.
Yeah. The line has been broken.
Yeah. So that's I've never really thought about that, but that's a great point.
Yeah. I at least when I finished it, I honestly was like that. Like that was kind of like what was sitting over me, where I was like, man, were they trying to prepare me for the fact that like we've been through several changes just as a fandom as a whole, even with Lucas changing it and then selling it to Disney and then Disney doing their own thing. Then it's like, well, what if they just don't want to hold on to it forever?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they will ultimately, but you never know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd personally like to just see it be locked in a vault. I don't want it to be sold again. I just want it to be like, I said this forever, as much as I love getting new things. And of course, our show kind of thrives on that. And we like seeing that.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that thinks that there is so much dignity in riding off into the sunset.
Yeah. Just being done.
Yeah. Just keep games coming, keep comic books if you want, like stuff like that. But, and I know that seems so like anti-fan, you know, coming from a big fan, a fan that, I mean, look, you know, but there is a huge part of me that, I would like that. Yeah. Just right off into the sunset.
We've talked about, we're both storytellers. Yeah. There is something to things ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a courage to it. And I think that unfortunately, when you don't let it go, then there's a dilution that happens.
Supernatural.
We're reaching that point. I think we're getting closer and closer to it.
Yeah.
I really worry about some of these new movies that are coming out, but that's a conversation for another day.
Yes.
So this show kind of ends with something fun. You know, we get some wrap ups with Darth Dev and Siggy, you know, like the big battle that happens. It's very, very Lucas-y, you know, you have like the ground battle and then the space battle. I really enjoyed the choreography there where they were like jumping around, where Siggy was breaking things all around his ship because he's a Sith breaker.
Yeah.
Or rather Dev was, and then Siggy was using his force building.
To build it.
He took Jedi Bob's lightsaber. All great. Yeah. But then it ends on kind of a cliffhanger, which I wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
Teeing up a season 2.
I guess we're getting a second season.
Wow.
With the Landalorian.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Landalorian.
I know. Voiced by the man himself.
Billy D.
Billy D. And I'm hoping maybe Chris Pratt can voice Grogu. Maybe it could happen.
Yeah.
Maybe it could happen here.
There it is.
Yes. Yes.
That'd be the place too.
Exactly. It's perfect. And then somehow I called it in a different galaxy far, far away, but it happened. Oh my gosh. That would be so good.
It would be.
Yes.
I loved the ending between Dev and Siggy as well.
Yes.
And just the heartfelt.
And then too, that like Dev being like, I'm not going to kill you. Like, I still need you. I'm like, ooh, I wonder what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked the kind of double meaning to that too, where he's like, you know, we know he's doing it because he cares.
Yeah.
But,
well, I mean, he said they didn't have a brother for the first couple episodes, and then all of a sudden, like, that it's like, no, you are my brother.
And how about the courage to keep him a good or a bad guy?
Yes, that not turning him.
He didn't have a turn at the end.
No,
another point right there, just from my side, because you know how that drives me up the wall.
Yes, the face turn at the end.
Yeah, everybody always has like this. I mean, and if there was something that was going to do that, I mean, they teed it up perfectly for him to have a little redemption. But no, he stayed evil.
Yeah.
Good all around, man.
No,
honestly,
I think it's solid. I think it's
8.5 out of 10. Like that's, or maybe an 8. I don't know. I don't know. I could go 8.5, but 8 out of 10.
Yeah. I liked it.
I liked it too. I would take a season 2 of this.
Oh, definitely.
Put a bunch of more ideas.
Yeah.
Throw out one idea.
For this?
Yeah. Season 2. Just a wacky idea, like kind of like a Darth Jar Jar level.
What do you got? I mean, you've got something.
I don't have anything. I was thinking because I kind of said that. And I was like, I didn't think about this.
Give me a second. Give me a minute.
Obi-Wan, I guess, because I think they have a lot of implication.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, they really gave this a lot of thought.
Yeah.
And so Vader being there implies that Obi-Wan was a bad guy. So maybe he beat Obi-Wan and that's why he's not in the story.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it'd be fun, like somehow Obi-Wan returned.
Yeah.
And he's like an evil Sith.
Dark Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan. That could be fun. I don't know.
R2 wasn't in it. So let's have R2 show up.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
As what?
I mean, I'd make him like a crime lord. Like Jabba the Hutt. Someone owes him money.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really fun. I'd take more of this. More, please. To the directors.
Yes.
Let me speak your names. I have them written down. Or to the showrunners, Dan Hernandez, Benji Sammet. Great job.
Yeah.
I love this. A lot of fun. Breath of fresh air. Exactly what the fandom needed in a time like this.
Definitely.
Awesome stuff.
I agree.
I think it's time to hear from the homies at home.
Clear your mind of question.
All right, y'all. The fan segment, not the fan questions necessarily, because we're adding a little bit here.
Yes, we are.
We're going to start the fan questions from here on out, or maybe on occasion, maybe not every episode. We'll see how things go with the fan spotlight. So if you were with us on our Ask Me Anything live stream last week, we brought this up that we wanted to start amplifying you guys in more ways than just the fan questions. And one of the ways we want to do that is here at the top of the fan questions. If you guys have art that you're doing,
music,
you make music.
Do you working on a Kickstarter?
Like anything.
A movie, anything creative, anything that you would like to share with Out Beyond the Dune Sea, let us know.
And we will put it here at the top. And it doesn't need to be Star Wars. For example, last week we talked about our friend Daybreaker in the chat. He's always in the chat and in our live streams. Working on a terrific tabletop RPG called The Wild Imaginary West, which is just so cool.
Yeah.
Just incredible. I'll put a link to that in the description. You can check that out. But not really Star Wars related, but happy. So fun to see that.
Exactly.
So we want to see what you guys are out there doing. And like I said, it could be anything, anything that you're proud of and that you're working on, a project you're working on. You're like, that would be really cool to share. Let us know and we'll look at it. And
maybe we'll share it.
Maybe we'll share it during one of the shows. So this week we have from Samuel Simpson, an artist, does really interesting art.
Intricate work, line work, guys.
Yes. And I'm going to read a little blurb he sent me. I came up with a lot of my work from my imagination on lunch break at art college, having learned practically nothing from the actual classes themselves, the little laughing emoji. I've always had a preference to black and white, as I find it always allows you to notice finer details than if it was all vivid colors. It also gives a unique atmosphere. The background is done in graphite, but the rest is in fine liners. And just take a look.
It's wild, guys.
At some of this stuff.
This is so intricate.
Yeah. Like
I want to know how big they are.
You can really like zoom in, and you start to really see some of the detail. And I just think it's really neat. I really like your Obi-Wan. We found that. So, hey, we got a Star Wars connection here.
Woo!
Or Ben Kenobi action.
Yes.
So terrific. Show Samuel some love. I'll put a link to the Instagram in the description.
Yes.
Let them know in the comments as well what you think. And go over there, show some love, show some support.
Yes.
And thanks so much for sharing that with us. And like I said, if you got any art or any projects that you guys are working on, send them over.
Yes, please. We want to know what you guys are doing out beyond the Dune Sea.
You guys have amplified our voices by watching and sharing the show. We want to return the favor. So send them over. On to the fan questions themselves. So this week, of course, I put up a prompt on Instagram asking you guys your opinion on or asking questions about Rebuild the Galaxy. David _Furtado 15. Do you guys have a favorite level in Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga? I threw them so far. Greatest hits version, unfortunately. I don't have my original copy.
Yeah.
You didn't play these, right?
I don't think so.
I played mostly handheld. You guys know I'm a big handheld guy, so I did most of my gaming on the DS version. I'm trying to think if I had a favorite level. I definitely have a favorite level from my favorite one, which is that one. And that is the level where you play as Yoda on Kashyyyk in episode 3. And
gotta defend the Wookiees.
Yes, and it's the music. So you get like in the Game Boy Advance, like yes, and it's just so clear in my mind. I love it so much. Lego's probably fighting Darth Maul in this one. I don't know why. Like that really sticks out to me in this. Oh no, actually, it's fighting the Emperor because you get to team up with Darth Vader. And I always thought that was so cool because you fight Vader at first. Yeah. And after you beat Vader, you guys like kind of team up.
Oh, as Luke?
Yeah.
And you fight the Emperor.
And then you fight the Emperor.
Okay, that's cool.
So I always really loved that as well. Then, gosh, now it's all coming back to me. I love almost all of episode 3 is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that there's like no low points in that. Yeah. Love that. Best Lego game right here. Adam.c.Gilbert 13, favorite Star Wars Lego growing up or currently? Mine is the 2002 Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter.
I really like Anakin Starfighter. I think that's a pretty cool Lego.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not your one you had growing up?
I mean, it's just the pod racer. I mean, it's cool, I guess. I don't remember it being together very long. I feel like that I broke it.
Oh, okay.
Being a kid and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't remember, or like accidentally dropping it and then not having the instructions to get it back together exactly the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was the ARC 170. I had a lot of, I remember building that with my dad, and that was really cool. I was very excited about that. I have a very clear memory of that. It was a kind of a sad story, one I will not share, but it ended up kind of being a good story by the end of it, because we got to build that together. So it was so probably that one.
Yeah.
I like a lot of the newer ones. They're just so expensive, and I have too many expensive hobbies as it is.
Dude, we were trying to, make minifigures of us.
Expensive.
Yes, that's a hobby.
I kind of like the, I don't know what the line is called for them right now, but they're kind of mini versions.
Like the brickheads?
The ships? No, the ships. So
okay,
like, there's one of the Falcon that's like this big, but it's
and
like $85.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Too rich for my blood.
It's just crazy. It's like, I can't justify it for the price, and also the space.
Yeah. It's the shelf space. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're cool though. I do love the aesthetic, and I like building them. They're fun. Like I have a few, I get one every couple of years maybe, and they're fun. Like I put that together when I was sick a couple of years ago. That was a good time. And Jedi.Lex, what is your favorite Lego Star Wars set? Just talked about that. Do you have a favorite set other than that one? Anyone that's out currently? I
would need to sit back. I do like I thought the Anakin Obi-Wan Mustafar battle one was pretty cool. Yeah. Like I like stuff that, were like, it was kind of like action adventure-y, if that makes sense, where like stuff, like play set, where like stuff could do things. Like I had some of those Steven Spielberg ones when I was younger. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where like they were like, it came with like a little director, which I assume he was supposed to be Steven Spielberg. He looked just like him or whatever. Okay. And like, they were like, there was a temple one where it was like all like old school, like pulpy action adventure guy, basically Indiana Jones before Indiana Jones Legos. I loved that growing up. I had this little thing where the floor pulled open and there was a bunch of spikes, and there was like a gem at the end of this hallway. I'll find it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was like my favorite, but that's not a Star Wars Lego, but I really liked that guy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Aaron isn't qualified. If you could pick any Legends storyline to become a Lego Star Wars game, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. Lego Star Wars game.
Force Unleashed would be fun. I know it's already a video game, but translated into Lego.
I was just thinking, how ridiculous would the Revan story be in Lego?
So many Legend stories are so serious.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, to make it ridiculous, where it's like, who am I? Well, I got a story for you. That like,
can you imagine Plagueis?
As a Lego game.
That'd be insane.
It would be. Like the final level is you just killing Plagueis as Palpatine, shooting him with lightning.
Dark Empire might be fun.
Yeah, that could be good.
Stuff like that.
I think like the Han Solo trilogy, I think could do really well too.
The Air trilogy, that can make a really fun Lego game.
Yeah. It's still that kind of sprawling story that could work. Yeah.
Ripik_10, any custom Star Wars Lego builds as a kid you were super proud of? Well, you mentioned yours earlier that they all kind of hung out in the Jeep.
Well, yeah, but they weren't Legos, but like, like my Power of the Force guys, they all hung out in the Jeep. Yeah.
I didn't have any really. I used to mix my Star Wars Legos with my Harry Potter Legos because I had quite a bit of those from Prisoner of Azkaban.
Oh, I gotcha.
But yeah, man,
Luke going to Hogwarts.
Basically. Yeah. Or sounded so boring with our Lego knowledge here.
Yeah.
Hungry Bookworm. If y'all could make a Lego Star Wars movie or show, what would it be about? Ooh.
Cripes.
You got to kind of lean into the ridiculous, but you also have to have some heart.
No, and I think that's super important. I think they almost made like they've got like the perfect little setup here with what they made. Like it's kind of tough to be able to like
kit bashing and all that stuff.
Yes. Even the whole like just having two brothers and like the cornerstone is a really good idea. That like all of that is really, really solid. And then again, using Jedi Bob and like, yeah.
I think you'd have to take something completely outside, but maybe they run into some characters from time to time, kind of like this.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what era I would like the most. maybe some stormtroopers.
Yeah. Just a day in the life of a Lego Stormtrooper.
Yeah, that are like being reformed or something. Maybe like get lost and they're trying to be good guys.
I was going to say like a Tag and Bink kind of thing where they're the odd couple.
Yeah.
That could be good.
Yeah.
The Bad Batch could be really fun as Legos as well.
Yeah.
Just them on some crazy mission and then a tiny Omega running around with them.
Yeah.
Help me, brothers.
I feel like our answers are super boring to some of these. I'm sorry.
Sorry, guys.
Would you want them to make a Lego Rebuild the Galaxy video game? I'd be open to that.
Sure, why not?
Although, maybe this is just me, but I think part of the charm of the Lego games is that you get all of these moments that you know by heart, told in a super silly way.
Yeah.
So if you
they don't speak either, do they? Don't they just?
They
make
do
like,
in the newer ones, and that's why I don't like the newer ones as much. But like, back in the day, they didn't speak, and that was so much fun.
Yeah,
because you got
to
all
see
these,
how they did these things, or how they ended up in these situations. Yeah.
So I wouldn't say no to that, but I think that you would lose part of what makes Lego Star Wars so much fun. Is if you had a completely new story.
Yeah.
It would.
If you had a Nerf herding level though, you'd love it, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Or you could have your stick and you just corral them around.
Trying
it's
to
like Farm
imagine.
Simulator.
At least this is how I played the Lego Star Wars games, but you're always, yes, they're fun games, but they're also extremely simplistic, which that's part of the charm of them. But I always was trying to find the moments. Like, I can't wait to see how they're going to handle this part from the movie I love. What are they going to do here?
Yeah.
But if they're going to do a whole what if thing set in a video game, I feel like you will lose a part of that magic that makes the game so much fun. That's just me personally, though. Maybe other people would really like that. Floral Mandalore, do you think Lego is a good medium for future Star Wars? For this stuff. Yeah.
For this stuff. I don't think that it works. Like, again, we've seen, I don't think the Christmas special works the best. Yeah. I think that the Halloween worked even less, in my opinion.
Really? I liked the Halloween one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as good as this, but I liked it.
I mean, I didn't like, it just didn't have that pizzazz that the other things have had, in my opinion.
It wasn't as good. I mean, I think that Lego is a great option just to. So in that Collider article, let me backtrack for a moment. The showrunner said that Lucasfilm gave them no restrictions, nothing. Like they could do anything they wanted, which is great.
Yeah.
I think it's part of the reason this is so good is because they were able to make whatever jokes they wanted, tell the story they wanted to tell with basically no creative influence.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of a superpower that they've got. So if it was the future of Star Wars, where a lot of stories are being told here, I think you get a lot more meddling. You get a lot more, kind of what we see in main Star Wars right now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think that Lego kind of is in a nice place where they get to tell fun little vignettes and little stories, but on occasion they may have a little gem.
It could be like, again, it's just a nice little commentary channel.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, we can comment on that stuff because we're the silly Lego show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what good comedy does, right? It's commentary. Kate_Yuri. What was your first Lego Star Wars set? Love the show, fellas. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.
What was my first one? You said yours was the pod racer.
I
right?
believe so. I remember distinctly having that.
Believe my first one might have been a small one, like the little crab walker from Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? The droid crab walker.
Yeah. It's the one clone hops on him during on the Utapau fight. Yeah.
I think that was my first one. No, it wasn't. It was Grievous's ship.
Oh, okay.
That was one of them that I sold. Dang it. Now I'm sad that I remembered that. Because I loved that Grievous minifigure.
What was the name of his ship? His ship has some crazy name.
Does it?
Do you know?
No.
Okay. I just learned it because they gave it a card. Like his, because his ship's called the Invisible Hand, but his little starfighter has like some wild,
the soulless one.
The soulless one, which I was like, dude, that's crazy. Because but Grievous doesn't have a soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or does he?
I don't know. Small machine now.
We
did it.
Ooh, here we go. Great question.
Uh-oh. Oh, he's queuing up.
From Caleb Marks. Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga or The Skywalker Saga?
Wow.
There can be only one.
I gotcha.
No, I don't mind. This one's good.
Yeah. That's the recent one, right?
Yeah, this is the recent one. And I think that this one's still good. It's got
You yeeted it.
just for dramatic effect.
Okay.
The voices are fun because it's a lot of characters from the animation. Or a lot of the actors from the animation. And you get really fun interactions when you get two characters together that shouldn't be together.
Oh, okay.
You know, and they'll like comment at each other, which I'm not remembering a single interaction now for some reason.
Yeah.
But graphics are great. But I think there's just, maybe it's because I'm older, I don't know, but a little bit was lost from this. I think this is just it was simpler.
Yeah.
But this is also cool because it includes a lot of the newer stuff.
Yeah.
So you get the whole thing. There was one in between these, if you guys remember. Well, there was a few. There was the Lego Clone Wars. But then there was The Force Awakens, which blows my mind. I'm like, why did you make a game just about one movie? I bought that on opening day. Like, I was there. I got the little slip case. I got the special edition of that because I was a huge Lego Star Wars fan. I was so disappointed in that game.
I didn't even know that existed.
I almost bought it for the show today. I actually went to my local game store. I was like, I'm not paying $10 for this. Why did I come here?
I can't believe that you sold it the first time around. You said you got the slipcase and everything.
Yeah, but it's garbage.
And so you sold it.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
I mean, maybe I shouldn't have. I don't know. I always regret selling my games, but
I gotcha.
I did not like that game. I don't know. Yeah. It did not have the sauce.
I'm sure. I mean, as you said that it only covered one movie. That's so silly.
Yeah.
But I get it. They marketed the crap out of that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some cool things about it. I was jazzed to be, I mean, you remember that time. I mean,
oh, yes.
Gosh, you wanted to get your hands on everything Star Wars.
I went to Toys R Us at midnight. I don't do that.
Yeah.
But I went for this. Just so I could get an action figure of a guy that I didn't even know what he was going to do in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a Kylo Ren action figure. It was crazy because it was like a bunch of people that were all like Black Series. Oh, yeah.
Is it sealed?
Oh, yeah.
Is it first edition?
Yes.
It's the white box?
No, that was only for the third movie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, no, this is this is still black box.
Yeah.
Or red box.
Red box.
But yeah, I remember because it was all going through and there's people all and I just kind of walked up and I kind of just stuck my hand in there and I grabbed one and I went, I got the one that I wanted. I couldn't believe it because I was just this is crazy because there was a bunch of people up there. And yeah, I did get a little Lego brick, but I sold it. It was it had a little stormtrooper on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I was just kind of people want $60 for this. Okay, I'm I didn't. Yeah. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
Baby Coleman, I cannot get into Lego shows. Is it a me thing or is this common? No, it's not a you thing. I think that it's definitely a specific type of humor, and it's definitely more kid oriented.
Oh, definitely. Sure. And we kind of said at the top that there's good and bad Lego shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some are better than others.
Yes. And I even the Lego movies, Hollywood productions, some I think fall flat. Yeah.
I'd give this one a shot.
Yeah.
And if you want real top tier Lego content, the Lego movie and the Lego Batman movie are extremely good.
Lego Batman movie. I mean, that's not even just a good Lego movie. That's just a really good Batman movie.
It's kind of crazy.
A really good Batman movie.
I remember when my wife and I went to go see that in theaters. We walked out thinking that was why? Why was that so good? It just had no right to be.
It's really, really good. It's well done.
I love that movie. Yes. It's in my top 3 Batman movies.
Yeah, I was going to say it's up there for me.
Yeah, so good. Serg7, what's the funniest Lego Star Wars moment, game, or movie show for you? Just the funniest Lego Star Wars moment. I kind of read that weird.
No, it's okay. I just am I didn't play a whole lot of the games. So, I guess from the commercial where I remember the commercial where the clone troopers are all, I don't know, they're all in their swim trunks where it just cuts and they all have I don't even know what the heck that's from. I just remember it smash cutting to that a lot as a commercial.
I was about to say the same thing because that's a joke in a lot of them. You find a bunch of stormtroopers chilling in a hot tub.
Yeah, exactly. Where I'm just
that's pretty good.
This is ridiculous.
That's the stuff, man. In the original games, back before you knew what Lego humor was.
Yeah.
Oh, this is crazy. Stormtroopers in a hot tub.
What are they doing?
What are we doing?
Put their armor on. Like, that's insane. The Mark Hamill riding on Daisy Ridley's back, I thought was hilarious in the opening. Kylo Ren being Ben Swallow, if you will.
Yeah.
Like, that's good stuff.
I'm trying to think of anything from these games that I'm forgetting about.
Does something crazy happen where like Darth Maul, or Qui-Gon's just laying there? Like he gets stabbed and he's just like, isn't there a lot of that where it's just like they don't show the violence? It's just them like,
I played a lot of these, like the handhelds, so I didn't get the really full experiences.
Gotcha. Okay.
But
I feel like I remember that where it was like they kind of cut out the violence, if you will.
Yeah. There's a lot of moments from this that are great. Like with the characters interacting. That's so much fun. Like if you have Darth Vader and little Anakin in your party, like they talk and that's fun.
Yeah.
It's just little things like that. But again, it's all escaping me right now. BC_Scrubs. What's the best animated Lego Star Wars? Probably this.
Oh yeah. I mean, I haven't seen anything else that really.
I actually I like the Christmas special. I think that's fun. It's like post Rise of Skywalker content.
Yes, it's the only post Rise of Skywalker content that we have.
And
basically,
I kind of like the Halloween special. I think that's fun too. But this is the best.
This is League's better. Yeah.
Reese's Pieces of Poodoo. Pretty good franchise commentary. 2 thumbs up for Lego.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Noah Belante. What's your favorite Lego Star Wars episode y'all have played and why? Love y'all. May the Force be with you. Ooh.
Thank you.
It's the third from Complete Saga.
Gotcha.
I know you haven't played any of
them.
them.
I know.
So.
We'll have to do that then.
Yeah. I know. These questions have made me realize how Lego ignorant we are.
Yeah.
But when I've replayed these games, it's been years since I've replayed them. But every episode drags for me at a certain point. Like I can remember right at the top of my head, A New Hope in the beginning drags for me because you're like going around the desert for so freaking long.
Yeah.
Part of it is like I have to get true Jedi. It's a sickness. Like I have to. So in the games, if you don't know.
No, I know.
You have to collect all the studs.
I got you. I know the joke. Okay. Do you collect those stupid little things? The
mini kits. Yes.
You collect those too?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. It's deep. Very deep.
Okay.
But
you've done it? You complete all of it?
In the first one, the second one in Complete Saga, I did.
Okay.
I don't think I have in any of the others.
Okay.
But definitely didn't. Maybe I didn't in the second one. I don't remember. I definitely did in the first one though.
Yeah.
Crafting_on_Ilum. Favorite part of the show.
I really like that shot of where Dev has the corner piece. And then Luke comes flying in on his pod.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That was sick.
And then grabs it as he's spinning and then just wrecks. And they're like, now what? He's like, I don't know. I'm making it up as we go. Then I'm just like, that's cool. That like, part of me kind of thought that, that they were just that was all we were going to see of Luke.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And then also I got a pretty good chuckle out of Jar Jar saying Misa always been the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
I was like,
that was great.
I don't really, again, we've talked about it before that like, I think there probably was in the original drafts more to Jar Jar, but I don't think that he was a Sith Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was pretty cool having Ahmad Best play him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I really liked the final battle with Siggy and Dev. I just think that was a really fun.
Every time
jumping around.
Dev had lightning, I thought that was really interesting how they like showed it, where it was like flash, and then they're all there for a moment, and then it's gone, or he's holding a bolt.
And then the payoff of the staff, you know,
yes,
with the storm, you know. Well, now Dev is the storm, and so he gets to call that all in. I like that kind of stuff. So that whole final battle was a lot of fun, especially like Jedi Bob.
Yep.
If not that, then the Force building the different ships with Jedi Bob
during
and
that
Siggy,
chase piece.
during the chase, was really cool.
Yeah.
Pro Jason Wingard, Jedi Master Cad Bane would go nuts. I wish he got some dialogue. Yeah, but he was great.
I was gonna say he was just hanging out in the back, just like Dooku.
Yeah,
Jedi Master Dooku's back there, but
yeah, maybe they couldn't get Corey Burton because he plays both of those people.
Oh, I gotcha. I don't know, and maybe they'll be in the sequel. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. Mace Windu just felt like he just showed up at the very end. He
Yeah,
had
T.C. Carson even played him too for like 2 lines.
Yeah, I know. Because I was trying to think like, now this is a party or something like that. It says, say this party's over. Now the party's getting started.
Fun fact I didn't realize until relatively recently. T.C. Carson, who plays Mace Windu in the Clone Wars, he also plays Kratos in the original God of War games. You know that?
No.
He's terrific in those games. I never realized that was the same guy.
Huh.
He's real good.
Okay.
Final question from Michael _Kramer98. Favorite Lego Star Wars game? Mine is Skywalker Saga. I know you haven't played it.
It's all right. We'll have to just play. It's okay.
Mine is this one. It's always going to be this one.
Yeah.
This one's very special to me. It's why it's in the little protective case.
What's bouncing around in there? Is that the cartridge?
It's the game. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but it's complete. It's got the manual and everything. It's really not that expensive of a game. Complete.
Yeah.
It's like maybe a $30 game, but this sits at the pinnacle of my collection. It was a very, very special. Unfortunately, it's not my original, but a very special moment with my mom. So that was succeeded a very sad story at school, which maybe I'll tell that story sometime. I think I've told it on the show before.
I was going to say, I know your story. Yeah.
But that game, I have such fond memories of playing that game. And that poster is one of the most iconic core memories in my head.
That poster?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
It's crazy looking at the artwork from the covers of how even the Legos have changed.
Yeah.
Like, look at the complete saga compared to that.
Yeah, I know.
It's like
I'll grab the PS2.
Yeah. Just so you can see that, like, how the Legos are drawn.
Yeah, it's like these guys. I mean, this was a little bit after even the yellow days, but their eyes just black dots.
Yep.
You know, very minimal expression. Their hair is super flat.
Yeah.
Then you get to Skywalker Saga, which is how they look today.
Yeah.
Very expression.
Everything. Well, look at the Vader helmet too in the background.
Yep.
That, like, it's not super detailed and everything, and like that Darth Vader like just looks like Darth Vader.
And I know this is probably nostalgia talking, but I prefer this.
Do you really?
I do. I think that there's just something simple about this that I love.
Yeah.
I mean, these are cool the way that they look, but they just look too
close to the real thing.
Too like, I don't know the right word. They look like
is it that uncanny valley?
It's too much. You know, like I think there's something very toyetic about this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they still look like Legos at that point.
And I think that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I like that about these.
Yeah.
The best way I could describe it is like, these are the guys that went, rah, 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 rah. These are the guys that talk. And it's like, I like one of these better than the other.
Yeah.
But this poster just burned into my brain. Absolutely burned.
That goes hard.
It does go hard. I love it. Yeah. Gosh, just looking at it here, it makes me want to just immediately stop the show and go pop it into my PS2. Yeah, there's something sticky on here, some like sticker residue.
Need some goo gone.
Need to get that off here.
Yeah,
but fun stuff. I hope we get more stuff like this future. But pretty good time. I really enjoyed.
I'm happy that we decided to take the pit stop.
Yeah, me too.
Before next week,
because next week.
Yeah.
Really hope I don't drop this. Okay, next week. We are going out to Corellia.
Yeah.
Then to what other planets do they go to?
Oh, I don't remember. I need to watch the movie again.
Hold on. I'm trying to think. What's the planet? Gosh, why am I? Kessel.
Yeah, well, that's where they get the coaxium from. Yeah. I always thought you were trying to think of the snow planet.
No, I was trying to think of the desert planet at the end. Where's that? Where Dryden Voss is at?
Yeah, I don't remember. Where Enfys Nest is hiding out.
Yeah. We're going to go there too.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're going to see the coolest version of the Falcon because we are going to cover finally Solo, a Star Wars story. Seeing the origins of Han Solo, and I can feel a Lego coming off of this. This is not good. This is precarious and a mistake. Okay, we're good. Whew. All right.
Making me nervous over here.
I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about that.
Yes.
And then after that, the week after, we are going to ICCCC in Nashville, Tennessee, with a lot of our other fellow Star Wars creators. It's going to be a blast. It's a convention.
Yes.
October 3rd through the 6th, I believe. Highly recommend if you don't have tickets and you're going to be in the area, head on out there. It's going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of Star Wars
guests.
boys
will be there.
Yeah. A ton of Star Wars guests. We're going to have Billy D. Williams, Warwick Davis, Dennis Lawson, whole slew, Timothy Zahn.
Yes. But then
Mark Thompson.
all kinds of other like Kenner legends and stuff like that. Toy legends are going to be there. So that's kind of cool too.
It's going to be a blast. So we're going to have an episode up that week, hopefully, because that will be the week of the anniversary of the finale of Ahsoka.
Oh.
So just a little tease. We won't tell you exactly what we're doing. You'll have to wait to watch that week.
Yeah.
Other than that, guys, next week, solo a Star Wars story at the same Dune time, the same Dune channel.
And never forget, it's Dune in time.
We'll see you next week.